Alright, so I'm recording this video for my friend who doesn't know anything about Flashpoint Batman. So I'm gonna educate him on Flashpoint Batman, which is Thomas Wayne. So there's the Flashpoint Paradox movie with Flash in it, and basically how this world is created is the Flash, Barry Allen, goes back in time and try and prevent his mother's death, and creates a messed up world called Flashpoint. And so we're gonna talk about that afterwards, but so basically how Thomas Wayne became Batman is, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. That fateful night where Bruce Wayne's parents were supposed to die, Bruce Wayne bites the bullet and his mother and father live. And so this drives his mom, Bruce's mom, Martha, insane, and forces her to become a very important character in all of DC Comics with her own spin on it. So Martha becomes the Joker, and Heath Ledger style puts a smile into her face after a couple months after Bruce's death. And so that's later in the comic. So how this comic starts off is Thomas is getting a he's like seeing a therapist, and a therapist is there. I think he's getting a psych evaluation. I'm not sure. Basically, she's asking him all these questions and stuff, and he's like, yeah, basically. And then, so Thomas Wayne is kind of like a crime boss-ish. He owns the casino. He owns the police force. He's good friends with Commissioner Gordon, and his assistant is Oswald Penguin. And so these are his dear friends. And so he gets notice from, I think, Penguin. I'm not sure, it's been a while since I've read the comics. But Penguin basically is like, yeah, we're going to locate them, but Bruce not Bruce, I'm going to say Bruce probably a lot throughout this video, because I haven't talked about Thomas Wayne in a while. But basically, Thomas goes into the sewers to investigate a lead. He's investigating stuff and stumbles upon a few, I think, people captured. And then he's like, are you okay and everything? Trying to make sure everybody's okay. When then out of nowhere, Killer Croc attacks Thomas Wayne with a machete.
Talk, or I'll start with your fingers.
And so they start fighting. And basically what happened is Thomas Wayne gets injured. And so to cut the fight short, he takes a machete and stabs it. This is a machete that Croc attacked him with. He takes the machete and stabs him in the head with it. Because Thomas Wayne kills. As you can see, he has guns on the side of his legs and everything. So yeah, this Batman does not mess around. He will kill you. He does not have the same morals as Bruce does. He's not afraid to use lethal force. He will kill you. So basically, whenever he gets back to his casino, he well, before all this, him and Gordon walk into the Batcave to the casino and everything. But then it cuts to Gordon after Batman gets back to the casino from his fight with Croc and lies down for a nap. And so Gordon goes to this universe's Oracle and asks him for any leads about the Dent twins. So this universe's Oracle is none other than Selena Kyle, because in her house there's a bunch of cats. So wants the Joker caught because the Joker is the one who crippled her, like in Killing Joke. Except in this universe, she cripples Oracle and the Joker is Martha Wayne. So he goes to the old mansion
Talk.
of Wayne Manor,
Good.
and after he goes to Wayne Manor, starts poking around, Batman, I forget what the cop's name is, I'm sorry, but she's in the Nolan film. Well, she owns a bar, and it's her and Bullock, and he likes to drink a lot, so they're like friends. So she calls him Thomas, and he comes down and takes a look, and there's a missing persons thing, and it's a missing pizza guy. And she found them, and he is laughing like crazy because the Joker fed him some bad pizza. And she's like, and I think her name's Renee. Renee asks, what can we do for him? And Thomas is like, nothing but blame me. And he snaps the laughing man's neck, killing him. This Batman really does not mess around. He will definitely kill you. He has no morals, I don't. And then he gets in the Batmobile, starts driving around, and he asks Oracle for any lead, or where Jim is, because he's been quiet for a few hours, and she's like, yeah, I tracked his cell phone to a place down in Bristol. And Batman he's kind of shocked and scared, and he drives wicked fast through the city. Meanwhile, in the mansion, Gordon finds the Joker and holding one of the kids hostage, the boy, and shoots the Joker point blank in the chest, like I think 3 or 4 times, I'm not sure. But then it wasn't the Joker, it was the other twin, the girl that Jim shot, because she was dressed up in the Joker's trench coat and had a gun taped to her hand and her mouth taped shut. And so Jim's begging her to please don't die, and then the Joker steps in and is like, she won't listen, they never do. And then I think she slits his throat here, and then Batman comes to the manor, busts open the door, and starts yelling the Joker's name. He starts yelling Martha constantly until he finds the kids, and and Jim is dead. His throat has been slit, he is dead. But he's calling for his gun. And so he pours something on the girl's shotgun, or the girl's gun wounds, and then he attempts to carry the kids out of the manor, and Joker's telling him to stop, and she's hitting him on the head with the hammer. And then it cuts back and they fight in Bruce's room, and he puts down the kids and fights Martha, and eventually they fall out of the window and land in the backyard. And he tells her to stop and listen to him. And he tells her the story that starts off as a happy family of 3 walks out of a movie theater. And they're confronted by a mugger. And the Joker is crying, telling him, please stop, the story isn't good. But then he changes the end and says that except this time Bruce lives and parents die. And she asks what becomes of Bruce's life, and then Thomas is like, he follows in his dad's footsteps, and she's like, is he a doctor? He says no, and her eyes become wide, and she starts running off into the night, and she falls in the same the same hole that Bruce did whenever he was a kid, except this time she dies. So the twins live, and Gordon dies, so he goes to the Batcave underneath Wayne Manor, where he finds the Flash and breaks a few of his fingers, and he's like, Bruce, it's me, and then Thomas is like, Bruce is dead, and then Flash realizes that this is Batman's dad. and eventually he explains everything and it's like, I need to replicate the experiment that gave me powers so I can get my powers back. It didn't work the first time and Flash got burned very bad. And then after that, basically what happened is the second time he tried, it works and Barry gets his powers back. Then the Amazons and the Atlanteans are at war, and North America is now entered World War III. And then basically yada yada, bunch of story stuff happens. And then what happens is Batman gets injured, and then Reverse Flash is like, there's not enough Speed Force to go around, and then Batman kills Reverse Flash, and it's like, you need to save the other world. This one's zero. But then all their worlds collide, and they're at war. The new, I think, pre-52 universe and Flashpoint universe are fighting, and Zero flies. He's like a super skinny Superman that hasn't seen light for like most of his life, or sun. But then what happens is Lois gives birth and Superman comes in, and Thomas just does not stop Superman from breaking into his cave. And then he's like, this may be the Superman that knows my son. So then Lois gives birth, and Thomas and Superman's like, will you help her? She's in labor. And then Thomas agrees at first, but then he realizes, he's like, I can't do it. And then Superman's like, why? Because the last person that I delivered was my son, and he died. So then he walks Superman through all the steps and everything. And then that's the last we see of Flashpoint Batman in the comics and in the movies. So if you guys learned something about Flashpoint Batman, John, I'm talking to you. You better have learned something. What is it? You better have learned something. And so that's going to conclude this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.